I think Kirkcudbright's a very attractive town physically. When I come off the A75 and come down that road, you feel like you're coming somehow into light.
I don't know how to describe it otherwise, but as a closed-in community, no through traffic, you come to Kirkcudbright because you want to be here.
There's no question that Kirkcudbright deserves the reputation as an artist town. Maybe that's something of an accident of history, but once it did become a magnet, artists are just recognised and understood as part of the community.
They say that artists find the best places to be. And for me in my early 20s, it felt I could grow here. I think that's the sort of secret that this area has.
It would go back to the 1900s or thereabouts when Hornell, Jesse M. King and these folk created a community, brought their friends down. They were active, well-known figures in the Glasgow scene. I can remember them all saying the North Light here in Kirkcudbright was something special.
I don't know, it's a great fuse of light that just helps you in your painting, whether you're outside or inside the studio.
It was perfectly normal to see the most bohemian of people wandering around the streets. But when you grow up with that, it doesn't come as anything odd.
Very flamboyant, some of them. It was very much how you looked. Oh, that must be an artist. But we never ever thought we'd end up being called the artist town.
My father and grandfather would work for Hornell, for Jesse M. King. I actually had one of the Jesse M. King painted Easter eggs, but it disappeared somewhere along the line. It was there for a long time, but we were close enough to know them all, and they took part. They didn't just come and draw, they took part.
Well, I remember as a little girl seeing artists wandering about daily, yet creating in their little studios up close as wonderful works of art that you never really knew about.
Lena Alexander, who was such a character. Tim Jeffs, who was a funny little man, never seen without his berry.
Charles Oppenheimer, he was a quietly spoken Mancunian. They were just nice, kind people you spoke to in the street.
We used to really enjoy going down to the pottery. It happened a few times where he would demonstrate and we'd be able to throw a few pots, although I don't think any of them were high enough standard for him to fire them.
A lot of them were friends with each other and they helped with pageants every summer. I mean, Lena Alexander, for example, she had a dress shop and you used to actually go through the shop to get to her studio to sit for your portrait. And I was quite frightened of her, really. Big, tall woman, quite robust, with big glasses, and now you'll sit and you'll not move.
I remember Aunt Alice, and she cycled around the town with her dog, running along beside her. Yes, they loved her, but they still thought she was different because she was an artist, she was different.
I used to get summoned up and she used to show me how to sharpen a pencil. She would tell me to go and look at a painting in a certain gallery and come back and tell her what was wrong with it. I was kind of immersed from an early age, so it becomes normality to have these people around you. It's made me appreciative of having your own likes and dislikes.
I do feel that things where you're expressing your creativity allow you to connect with yourself. It's like it just comes through you and you feel like an instrument.
So what's interesting now is that people are coming to Galloway more and more. They're discovering it. We are fully supported, and maybe that came from the feeling of other artists before us.
The thing that draws artists for generation after generation is the reputation as much as anything, but it happens to be a beautiful Scottish village. People looking to paint landscapes and village scenes would understandably be drawn. Long before I understood Kirkcudbright's status, I was a huge fan of the Glasgow Boys, and I now know that they lived and worked here.
Now, the artist town is something we should be proud of, and more artists, I'm sure, will come here once they find us.
Well, I like to think it'll never lose its artistic reputation, because so many towns struggle to have an identity now. And I think a lot of people come here because of that.
We have the history, we don't have to invent it. It's there and it stands out. Hornell's studio, there's Oppenheimer's studio. They're in the groundwork.